This is not a video I look forward to making, but I feel that it needs to be made to clear the air. So a week ago RazorBlade Kandy released a video called Why the Men's Rights Movement Will Not Succeed, and yesterday I heard a video from Skyreal which was a clip from a Honeybadger podcast. Both videos are linked in the description. In this podcast, the Honeybadgers make the claim seemingly based on the points RBK made that MBTO are telling the MRM to stop fighting feminism and stop fighting for men's rights. So in my previous video TFM's Guide to the Manosphere I talk about the two kinds of anti-feminists. The first group believes that feminism is the problem, and the second believes that female nature is the problem. If you believe feminism is the problem, then you join the MRM, assuming you want to try to affect change instead of just making fun of feminists for entertainment. If you believe that feminism is simply female nature personified, the MRM is a waste of time, because women won't go against their nature and reform the laws, even if they could be convinced they were unfair. The MRM has succeeded in making the label of feminist fairly toxic. Skeptor made a video yesterday showing how feminists are trying to appeal to people who are obviously retarded, showing just how desperate the movement has become. Link in the description. Remember the Time magazine poll, where feminism led the pack of words that should be banned before feminist outrage forced an apology. Remember the female celebrities that said they were not feminists, but were later forced to apologize by their PR agents? Feminism has become toxic, and I predict that within a year or two you won't even see the apologies anymore. People will just openly mock and deny any association with feminism. That's great, right? Women don't want to be associated with feminism anymore, and that's awesome. Now the misandric laws can be repealed, and gender equality can finally be realized, right? Right? Well, no, women still want to be protected and provided for, and men want women's approval, and will sacrifice themselves to protect and provide for women. Thus the laws will never change. Getting women to say they are not feminists, and getting women to give up their privileges, are completely different things. So I applaud the MRM for discrediting the label of feminist and feminism, but so what? The laws are not going to change. Women are the majority of voters, and no amounts of YouTube videos are going to change that. Let's look at a couple of examples. Sources will be in the description. Anyone remember the so-called war on women over the last few years? In case you forgot, or you don't live in America, feminists demanded free birth control, and if you had the temerity to tell women to buy their own birth control, you were declaring war on women. Now, according to a poll conducted by Lake Research Partners in 2012, it found that 55% of women voters and 30% of men voters consider themselves feminists. Keep those numbers in mind. When voters were asked if they supported free birth control to women, 81% of women supported it, as well as 60% of men. Let's look at one more. The gender pay gap, the lie that will not die. It's been discredited countless times, but what do the voters say? In a 2014 poll conducted by the Feldman Group, 72% of women and 64% of men support laws to end workplace discrimination for women, even though such discrimination has been illegal since 1963. 71% of women and 58% of men support a paycheck fairness law to remedy the so-called wage gap. Just so I am not accused of taking these results out of context, I'll quote the exact question used in this poll regarding the Paycheck Fairness Law. Congress is considering a new law called the Paycheck Fairness Act that would make it harder for employers to pay different wages for the same work. The law provides women more tools to get fair pay in the workplace and support working women and their families. The law will also prevent employers from penalizing employees who share their pay information, which will make it easier for employees to identify discriminatory pay practices. Do you favor or oppose the law you just heard about? So as you can see, this gives women another tool to sue their employers over a non-existent pay gap, which can really only be remedied by paying men less, and 64% of men favor it, as well as 72% of women. Just as a reminder, only 55% of women and 30% of men identify as feminists, and yet solid majorities of men and overwhelming majorities of women support the feminist agenda. So if feminism is not the problem, what is the problem? I'm just asking the question because I think the men's rights movement needs to thoughtfully and seriously consider that possible implications and come up with an acceptable answer. Amito has the answer. RazorBlade Kandy has been kind enough to share the answer. Maybe, just maybe, you should listen to him.